Well, hello there, and welcome to the very latest episode of the Love Machine podcast. I cannot wait for this episode today because we're going to be diving deep into the realm of subconscious doubts in dating. Join me, James Preece, as I sit down with the incredible Kate Semeniuk, a hypnotherapist with a mission to unveil the root causes of mental blocks and emotional struggles. Kate's journey is one of transformation and empowerment. She passionately believes that every individual deserves a life brimming with happiness, fulfillment, and joy, free from the shackles of stress and unhealthy patterns. And through her explanation, she discovered rapid transformational therapy, RTT, a method that accesses the subconscious mind where 95% of our lives reside. And through this process, Kate has unlocked profound changes, not just in her own life, but in the lives of countless others. Her purpose is clear: to empower you to unleash your true potential in life and relationships by understanding the underlying reasons behind your behaviors and the feelings of being stuck. So during our conversation, Kate will also end it by running a short interactive exercise to provide everyone listening with first-hand experience in unlocking the potential and overcoming doubts in dating. So join us as we unravel the mysteries of the subconscious and learn how to break free from doubt and uncertainty in the realm of dating. It's time to unlock the door to your real potential. Kate, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. This was an amazing introduction. Thank you, James.
It would have been a great introduction if I'd got it right, but I feel this particular podcast episode, we spoke before, we got on really, really well. I'm so hyped up for this one, but it touches a slight nerve with me, this whole episode. The very fact that we're doing this over video today. Now, whether you're listening to this or watching it on YouTube, it doesn't really matter. Imagine the same thing. For me, I have my inner critic in me saying, "Oh, you look awful on video. Why are you doing that? I used to be an actor. I know I can do this. I know I can present." So the nerves are in me very, very slightly, but I'm letting that go. I'm embracing that today because, Kate, you're so calming and relaxing, and we're going to have fun with this, aren't we?
Absolutely. And with the inner critic, right? We want that, we have that inner belief that we want to be perfect, right? We want to look perfect. But if we look deeper into that, and even in dating, anyone who is listening, this is listen attentively, anyone who is dating, we actually get a little bit resistance to perfect. We get cautious about perfect. We love natural flow. So whenever you're doing on the camera, I love it. The audience loved it because they feel connected. They feel, oh, he's so like relatable, you know? It's easy, right? But when we see someone who is perfect, we get this little cautious.
Yeah.
So being natural, being yourself is when you attract people into your life.
I agree, and I teach all my clients that as well. I think perfection looks fake. And that's why I don't script these podcasts, other than my introduction that I try my best to read out in my best voice for you and still got it wrong. I think perfection is boring. I think being spontaneous, being the real you, being authentic is very, very true. So the first thing I want to ask you, Kate, is how did you get into this field?
Yes, so it came through my own journey. I was going through talk therapy and found it being too long. Yes, that my anxious brain, the impatient brain that was right now and right here, took over, and I realized there must be something that can work faster.
Yeah.
And then I tried hypnotherapy. And then I was like, oh, it's much faster release, much faster understanding and insight. And when you get the understanding, you're like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But while in therapy session, in talk therapy, we usually use our logic. We usually use our logic and rarely use our subconscious or emotional brain because we want to rationalize everything when we are with our open eyes. That's a natural ability of the human brain. And so that's why I was talking and talking, but I couldn't see the root cause. And the hypnotherapy helped me. And that's how I got into, I was like, I want to do this with people. I want to do this with people.
Well, it sounds very impressive. Rapid transformational therapy. Now, what exactly is that? Is that like fast phobia cure? Is it a how quick is fast? What sort of results are we talking?
Yes, Marisa Peer, she is originally from Great Britain. She
I've
was
heard of
born,
her. She knows me. Yeah.
yeah, she's a renowned hypnotherapist working with celebrities. She, in 30 years of her practice, found this method. based on trials and errors and practices and experiments, she found this method and she decided to teach it because she was always overwhelmed with clients and how fast it worked. So technically it's the therapy on steroids.
Mhm.
So I see and I notice on my clients, it's probably equivalent to 10, 20 therapy sessions in one journey,
Wow.
in one hypnotherapy session. So yes, it does have a huge impact on people's lives. And it works hypnosis, neuroscience, a psychotherapy. It's all combined into one method, which is incredible.
So do you do one session with people, or do you do an ongoing program?
I love to tackle things in one session, but usually people come to me for 1 to 3 sessions. That's a
Okay.
rapid method. You don't need to go multiple times. Some clients come to me more than 3 sessions, but that's based on their self-development already. They use it as a self-development tool to kind of progress further.
Amazing.
But if you think about the issue, it's 1 to 3 sessions.
Brilliant. That is quite rapid, though, isn't it? To be honest, rapid. How rapid do you really want? I think 1 to 3 sessions. That's just perfect. That's going to solve the issues right away. And today we're talking about the problems when it comes to this doubt in your mind when it comes to dating. So many people are out there and they think they're not good enough. They aren't going to find somebody. They talk themselves out and they self-sabotage. So do you see these problems in your own clients?
All the time.
Yeah.
If people come to me with depression, anxiety, fears, I always ask them, how is your relationship?
Yeah.
What is happening with your connection to other people? And
Mhm.
there is always an issue there as well. You can't just be depressed, but having a wonderful, loving, passionate, connecting relationship. It just somehow shows up in your relationship as well.
Mhm.
And people who have depression, anxiety, or any other mental struggles, they sometimes just hold themselves back from actually building and connecting.
Mm.
They want to, logically, they really want to. Their heart wants to. But the anxious brain is like, no, 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 don't go there.
Yeah. They do, unfortunately. Well, depression's an interesting thing. I've had many clients over the years who have suffered from depression. And sometimes they've got no idea why that is, what's causing it and what's triggering it. They have a perfectly nice day and suddenly, bang, they just feel really down. So
Mhm.
can you reverse that quickly?
Absolutely. So doubt, right?
Yeah.
Doubt that is coming in depression. Depression is like a feeling of being stuck.
Mm.
I'm stuck. I don't know. Depression is a language of your body telling you that you cannot live the same as you lived before. So people are living based on their beliefs. And you know that working with your clients, they have these
Yeah.
strong beliefs. I'm not good enough.
They
I'm
do.
not,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So they run on this until something happens in life when they are forced to change these beliefs.
Mm.
Either to go to therapy, either to go to coaching, either to go to any type of self healing. So when the depression happens, it's the language that, hey, you need to make some changes in your life.
Mm.
Either it's about your confidence, whether it's about your self-esteem, maybe it's about the job that you're having. Depression very often happens when we don't love what we do. We're not excited about life. I always wanted to be a fashion designer, but I became an accountant. Or I
Mm.
wanted to be an accountant, but I became a hairstylist, whatever. Like
Yeah.
when we don't follow our desires, that's
It's
when
the
depression really sinks in.
Yeah, it's the frustration. And it's true of dating and relationships as well. People become unhappy because they settled and they didn't go for what they wanted. They wanted someone in a certain type. They didn't go for that, thinking someone might change, and they get disappointed by it.
Exactly, because people tend to build expectations. And that would actually, and you know that ruins the whole purpose. So subconscious mind is very like linear, like, right? It wants just survival, pleasure right now and right here. When we go on a date and we have these fears, doubts, right? Our rational brain switched off. It's actually on the physiological scientific level, right? Your logic is switched off, a
Mhm.
critical thinking switched off. Because if you had a critical thinking, you walk into the date and you're like, I can do this. Oh, let's find out something. Let's communicate, I'm not, critical thinking can tell you, hey, be yourself. Just be yourself.
Mm.
And be yourself. Come out into the conversation just the way you are and see if it attracts also an authentic people. Isn't that it, right? If
Yeah,
I'm fake, I attract fake people.
yeah,
If
that's what
I act
happens. Yeah.
authentic, And people want, oh, I want that love in relationship. I want that partner that's going to be so connected to me. But then I'm playing a role.
Mm.
So who sees you? No one sees you because you are under this role. I have to be perfect. I have to be, whatever. I have to be fake. I have to be someone else. I have to be like someone else. I have to be like James, like James. I have to communicate like he communicates. I have to do, and then we start to play roles. And we cannot be ourselves. And we
Yeah.
attract the same people into our life and we get disappointed. Oh, not what I wanted. Or we feel rejected, right? So doubts is when we are right in that emotional subconscious mind only, when we don't work really in harmony. Our logic, our intuition, our emotional brain work all in harmony.
So what makes us have these thoughts in the first place? You touched upon this with me before we did the episode today about how there are thoughts from teachers and parents and things that make you feel this way. And I hear that a lot in the podcast. It comes up a lot. The way that we form relationships and bond is based on that. But why does it still affect us so badly as fully grown adults?
I will associate it with the Apple phone. So people who just bought Apple 15 or Apple 14, right? You don't want to walk with the Apple 10, but somehow with beliefs, we walk with, Nokia 3310.
Oh, yes.
Remember
Classic phone. Classic.
classic
Snake.
phone, right?
Yeah.
But we somehow still hold the same beliefs we believed in childhood. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. Maybe I need to work more harder on myself, or I need to be better. I need to look better. It's and people believe if I have these beliefs, I will be more motivated to work. That's not true. That's the opposite. When we have the limiting beliefs, I'm not good enough. I need to be better. I need to be perfect. It actually holds us back from real growth.
Yeah.
So working it comes from the past. All the beliefs that are holding you back from dating, from being authentic, from being confident, from loving yourself the way you are, is somewhere in the past. Somewhere in the past. And past is in the past, but it will haunt us if we don't resolve it.
Mhm.
The
That's so
subconscious mind
true.
will remind us, yes.
Yeah.
Hey, go work on this, resolve it, change it. With different issues, with different struggles in life.
Something you said just now got me thinking as well. You mentioned about the latest iPhone and things like that. I've actually got the very latest Samsung phone right here. This brand new
Yeah,
one, lovely case. I've had this for about 2 weeks. I haven't really started using it yet. And it's not because I don't feel good enough to have the phone, in the same analogy that you were using, I'm not good enough for it. It's because I'm comfortable in my life and I'm used to using this phone, which is an older model of like a cheaper phone. And I love this phone. I've dropped it several times. It hasn't broken. It's great. I know at some point I have to transition to the new phone because I spent an absolute fortune on it. End of the tax year, I've got myself a new phone. But something holds us back sometimes from taking that step and then getting rid of what we know is comfortable and going for a new journey.
yeah.
I did that.
Subconscious, absolutely. It's a beautiful analogy. So subconscious mind doesn't like change.
No.
Change is pain. So
Mm.
even you logically, your critical thinking says, I will have to use it sometime because it has more features, better camera, whatever.
Yeah.
Subconscious mind like, hey, why would we just go into the pain of learning how to click these buttons, the change of the icons, everything is changed. It's pain. Any change for the subconscious
Yeah.
mind is pain.
Mm.
The only way we can program our subconscious mind is when we talk to it. Hey, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. So using more of that frontal, right? Cortex, you're gonna love it. Where is the benefit of having in your phone? So you need to talk to yourself. You need to talk to communicate with your subconscious mind, telling it it's gonna be fun. You don't
How
like
do you
it?
do that? How do you do that when dating, though, before you're going to go on a date? And how do you tell yourself this stuff? Because it's positive self-talk is so important, but how do people go through it if they're feeling a bit depressed, a bit not good enough?
First, identifying the problem. What is the problem? What
Mm.
is it anxiety? Then go work on the anxiety before, and that could be worked with you,
Yeah.
right? That could be worked with coach. That could be worked with a therapist if it's something trauma related, for example, right? A deep trauma that people are anxious now to actually connect to anyone else.
Yeah.
Right? So usually identifying what is that? What is that? Is it my self-image? Don't I like the way I look? Maybe have lost weight, gained weight, don't I look? This is a self-love problem, self-acceptance. If it's anxiety because I'm going, oh, they're gonna not like me and reject me and not call me back or not follow up. It's a fear of criticism, judgment, and rejection problem. So identifying the problem first, right? And then working on it, on the root cause of it, that would be great. Some people, and I found, by the way, now that some people are more working in their critical mind, they can suggest themselves. They can suggest, they're able to kind of control the feeling, the emotional mind, and they can suggest themselves. So it's a self-talk, but it has to be done regularly, not just before the date. It has to be done every single time. You go to work, you're telling yourself, hey, thank you so much for being able to do what I love. God, I'm so blessed to do what I love. Thank you so much for being able to connect to that girl, right? Or that guy, you know? Thank you so much today that someone responded to me and I'm able to just learn about someone. So not just like, oh, I'm good enough, you know, I'm strong enough, I can do it, but also gratitude. Thank you so much for this opportunity to work with James. Thank you so much for that I found that podcast. Thank you so much for like, being blessed and talking to yourself every day on everything. And it could be 1 minute or 2 minutes of the day, but it has to be done regularly. Not like 3 days, oh, it doesn't work, I'm just not going to do it. A subconscious mind learns by one simple principle, repetition. Just like we learn we learn to drive, just like we learn to write, to read, all of that was done by repetition. All of that was uncomfortable. We just don't remember that. We forget the pain really fast. We forget the pain of learning to write. We forget the pain of learning to read.
Like having children, we forget the pain of your sleepless nights. That goes, I'll have another child now, and you go through it again. Why did I forget all this? That's what happens.
Right? We forget because the mind helps us all the time. The subconscious mind, like, oh, that was in the past. Let's just let it go. Let's just put it somewhere in the back, right? We don't need it now. Like, look, you have a really nice child right now. You sleep well. Yes. So repetition, it needs to be repeated every day. So at least 21 days. That's neuroscience, that's scientifically proven to build new pathways in our brain. That's just 21 days. Some people say 66 days. Some people say longer, right? But really, gratitude, energy, right? The energy of self-praise. So not only just being grateful for having an opportunity, having a date set up for tomorrow, for example, evening, right? Really getting excited. So usually if people are very fearful about the unknown or very fearful about the change and the uncertainty of the date, it means that their inner child, that curious, adventurous part of them is suppressed. Because the curious and adventurous side is just coming out into the new communication or into a new friendship really easily. So yes, it's like a Christmas gift. But when that inner child, that adventurous, curious side suppressed, then comes the fears, the uncertainty. I have to control. I have to control what he says. I have to control what I say. I have to be very cautious. Because if I say it might sound out silly. If we have a belief that we sound stupid, or we sound silly, there's some criticism in the past. Someone called us stupid. Oh, don't say that, that's stupid. Or shut your mouth, right? All of these words, they need to be worked on and released.
They do. That happens to everybody. My inner child comes out all the time. I am curious, I am fun, I am playful. That is my style of coaching, my style of life. I can't do it all the time. Of course, there's certain times when I'm going to be tired, I'm not going to be feeling it, but that is who I am. That defines me. But I still have the inner critic in my mind sometimes that pops in there. Does everyone have that? Is it just how we control it?
Yeah, so usually, right, you have your life, you have a mission. Your mission is beautiful, right? You have a mission. I want to help, men really get into that dating and love it and enjoy it and find their soulmates, right? You already identified yourself with that mission, with that goal, right? With that sense of life. And that's why it's so exciting about it. You get excited. You get into the coaching session with like this ease, right? There's no inner critic, right? But the inner critic might still show up when there is something from the past that needs to be worked on. It doesn't mean that it cannot be changed. It absolutely can be changed. You remember your first job, remember your first coaching session, remember your first clients, right? It all was trepidation, kind of a feel of a little bit of a worry. You wanted to really do it very well.
Yeah.
And how you learned and the process, we forget to see what we have already done. And that's
Mm.
why we put it aside. Oh, I worked for 20 years in this industry, but who cares? I'm still not good enough, like that. But
Imposter
you
syndrome hits us all, I think, and I get it occasionally. It pops in my brain. And then what I like though, as I do a client session, and somebody will email me afterwards and say, James, so wonderful to work with you. I'm so pleased that I found you. I really enjoyed the session. You think, great, I'm making a difference, and that's great in a professional capacity. But often you go on a date and you like somebody, and they don't like you. There's rejection that comes into this,
Mhm.
and that's another side to this because you've got no control over that, have you? So, how do you overcome the fear of rejection in dating and also in life?
Well, I'll tell a little story that I've learned from one of my mentors that I've read books of, right? He wasn't my direct mentor, but
Yeah.
Michael Roach, he's in karmic management and he's just a wonderful person. And so he told us the story about that you are learning to digest rejection. So technically, right, you learn to digest the rejection because it's not actually a rejection. It's just as you probably teach that, it's just
Mm.
a redirection.
Yeah.
But if someone didn't respond to us or someone even told us that, oh, you're not my type, or I'm not interested right now in building a
Mm.
relationship with you, right? You have to what? Switch on the gratitude. Thank you so much, universe, for diversing me from person that I would spend many, many years on building probably relationship that won't even work
Yeah.
in the end. It's a redirection.
Mm.
So you are just redirected. And so if you look at the path or the life path, right? So the person bounces like this, rejection, but they are actually going into their direction.
Yeah.
So really, oh, rejection, 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 rejection. But it's actually holding us where we want to be. So we need to look at the rejection as the meaning. What's the meaning? Not the meaning that I'm not good enough and I'm not worthy. because
Yeah.
we are those meaning makers, right? But the meaning, like, hey, it means that there is something else. There are going to be plenty of other opportunity, and somewhere else is that person that I can build love and relationship with. It's not
Absolutely
about
agree.
it's
Yeah.
not about you. It's also so when we are afraid of the rejection or we are very hurt by rejection, right? We believe that people shouldn't reject us. That we believe that people should choose us. That's a little bit of a selfish side to us. That's
Yeah.
our selfish side. I had that. We all have that from time to time. We believe that people shouldn't reject us. They should not. They should accept us and love us and build relationship with us.
Yeah.
But do they actually need that? Do they have to do that? No.
No.
We allow others to live their life and to make their choices.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? So it's a little bit of a selfish when we are afraid of rejection. Oh, why they rejected me, right? No. It's like they have a right to
Mm.
choose what works for them. That's not about you. It's about your passes somewhere else. And that's about repetition, really, repetition, repetition, right?
Mm.
And then you start to like see that, oh my goodness. And usually when we meet, when you've had those clients who meet their soulmate, you ask them one question. So what if that person didn't reject you and you've started to build relationship with that person? You wouldn't meet this. You
No.
wouldn't meet this soulmate. So are you grateful for that rejection now? Oh
You have to
yeah,
be.
now yeah, it's so good, right? It's so good. It didn't work out. It's good. So all of those days didn't work out for me because I'm so happy I have this now.
I tell my clients the same thing, and I will say to them, if someone goes on a date with you and they reject you in that way, or say, "I like have a great evening with you, but I don't really see a future," that's wonderful. They've set you free to go and meet someone else who is more compatible. You can eliminate them from your inquiries, and you can keep getting closer towards what you do want. So I love your analogy with the tube and everyone bouncing off the walls like pinball. I can see that completely. I love it. It's steering you into the right hole, isn't it? That's what it's doing. I'm
And you
thinking of
can
the
even find that picture. You can find that picture for them and show them
yeah,
that direction. Look how it looks like. You bounce back like a tennis ball from
yeah,
rejection.
yeah.
And it's actually, you just don't see that now. We so want to see those 10 steps ahead of us. We really want to see that soulmate already in their clothes, body. But usually, By the way, the very good expression. First the universe gives you the desire
Hmm.
and then tells you the price.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
we want something. Okay, so I want to build new relationship. I want to go on dates, start in dating, feeling my confidence. But the price the universe shows you later. Hey, it's a little bit of an inner work. It's a little bit of doing assignments from James. It's a little bit of like, some homework to do. But it
Yeah.
shows us later the price. And we're like, nah, this is too hard.
Not
I
worth
just
it.
know it will be that hard. Right? But usually when we are coming out and we want to build and we want to go on date, and date is usually a huge judgmental moment, right?
Mm,
Because you see that first person, right? You start to judge. It's very good. It's very good to go and meet more people outside of the dating.
yeah.
So you go and meet people at the grocery store. You go meet people at your, soccer club. If there is a hobby club, whatever. Go meet people that you're not attached to building a romantic relationship.
Mm,
Just gonna train yourself.
yeah.
You're gonna train yourself on meeting new people. But if you're like, oh, I don't have friends, I'm all like, business, business, or work, 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 but I do want to go on a date.
Mm,
The mind is like, well, it was long ago, we have been in marriage for 25 years. We don't even know how to date now, right? The mind will
yeah.
freak out. But if you go and train yourself first on meeting new people just like that, just like entertainment acquaintances, your mind gets used to. And who knows? Some of those friends can become your soulmate. Who knows? Right?
They might want it. It's funny because I've got a client right after this recording today, and his homework for the week has been to do that, just to interact with people on a daily basis. Someone at a bus stop, someone in the supermarket, men and women, just to start the ball rolling, get himself comfortable having these conversations in the first place. Because so many people, I'm too scared to say anything. I don't want to bother these people. But just saying hello, paying someone a compliment, asking for directions is a great first start to this. And it will give you evidence in your mind that people are nice, people are responsive to this. And to me, what I tell my clients when it comes to these doubts, you need to have evidence that that's not true. And the evidence will build up in a positive way. And you tell yourself all this nonsense and all these lies all the way through to protect you and keep you in the comfort zone, as do I, as does everybody in their own little way. But really, that's holding us back. And once we see evidence for something else, then we can go out there and we can live a completely different, authentic life. And that's what we help people do, isn't it?
Yes, and James, you're so right. And one of the reasons why people believe they are intruding or taking someone else's time, they believe that people will be bothered and will be getting annoyed with us
Yeah.
or like reject us, right?
Hmm.
It comes from parents. When we are a little child and we're like, Mom, please draw with me. Go, let's go play. And the mom's like, I'm busy. I'm cooking here. Go do something, like go do
Yeah.
something in your room, go take Lego or whatever. Right? So that's where it comes from. That's what it comes from. That's fear. I will bother someone. Stop bugging me. Parents tell to their kids, oh, just leave me alone. I'm so tired. Sometimes
Yeah.
parents do that. And because they are tired, they have their own life. But right, but that comes from past. But in reality, the truth is people love to be bothered because they feel needed and special.
Yeah.
People on the bus stop, in the grocery store, when you talk to them, you might be the only person that talked to them in that day. Right? So they love to feel special. It's like, oh, if they ask me something about this product or they ask me, or
Mhm.
it means that I'm likable, I'm
Yeah.
approachable. So they love it. Give
It
them what they
validates them.
love.
Yeah.
Yes, it validates them, right? I'm noticed. So give them what they want. Give them, praise them a little, like, rub on their confidence and self-esteem. And then someone will rub on yours.
Yeah. And it's so important that we do that. Even just smiling at somebody can make the difference. But I feel like I've traumatized my kids a little bit now you said that, though. Because so often I'm working and I'm in my office with the door shut on the podcast. I open the door up. Daddy, we come and play with us. And no, I'm working. Daddy's working. Daddy needs to go for a walk. Daddy needs to go to the gym. I do my best as a parent to do what I can. But hopefully I'm not messing them up too much for adult life. I hope
I'll
not.
even, I'll tell you this, James. This is a short thing that. So when I started on my own journey, healing journey, started to change my beliefs, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna parent, consciously parent. You're not gonna be present for them, you know. So I have a 14-year-old and I have a 5-year-old. So my 14-year-old is a teenager, right? And my 5-year-old is just a child that always wants attention, you know. So as much as me and my husband, we want to really be emotionally available for them and really have fun and be silly and be like, I see how sometimes my teenager yells at my son, and I see, you know what, someone still will mess him up. No matter what. I see how sometimes, you know, she gets frustrated with him, you know, and she will yell. And it's like, no matter what I try, they need to live their experience, no matter what. It's their experience. They will have a chance to work on that in the future.
I agree with you. It's teaching them to stand up for themselves, isn't it? If nothing else, independence. So we're doing the right thing by ignoring our kids. That's great, but maybe not.
They get bored and they go find something to do. When they get bored, they become creative. The child that gets bored gets creative in eventually. Yeah.
That's true. And that's true of dating as well. If you're bored enough and lonely enough, you would do something about it. You will try something different. You'll be forced out of your comfort zone, whether you like it or not. So these thoughts in your mind, at some point, you're going to say, do you know what? Forget them. I'm going to do something different. And that's what we can do to empower people. Kate,
Yeah.
you're going to do an exercise, aren't you, for the listeners now?
I will.
Before we run out of time. So I know you're a really, really busy lady. So what would you like to do?
Yes, let's find out that moment. It's going to be a 5-minute practice. It's kind of a light self-meditation, self-hypnosis practice. We're going to go 10 steps down. People will close their eyes. If you're driving, please don't close your eyes. If you're driving and listening to this podcast, do it at home. Just replay it at the end. And so I will do that. We're going to go 10 steps down. And even if you are driving or you're walking and you're listening to this podcast, just think about that moment that we're going to go to. We're going to go to the moment when you started to doubt yourself, that you're not good enough, that maybe something is not going to work, whatever it is. It's one of the moments, one of many. But just go there and we're going to change it, shift it a little bit.
Okay. I'll be joining you. I will close my eyes. I won't do it in completely the same way. I'll do it myself later. In case I fall asleep or something and trance out at the end of this, that would be great. Tell myself these things. But I know how hypnotherapy works, so I'm going to be quiet now and leave you to it, Kate. So I'll see you at the end.
Okay. Good. Okay. So make yourself comfortable. Your hands and feet are in the most relaxed position. There is nothing to do but just to listen to my voice. And my voice will be with you. And close your eyelids whenever you're ready. As you close your eyelids, you have that looking down sensation. You can even drop your chin a fraction. And imagine 10 steps down. There is no wrong or right. As I count down from 10 to 1, you will go deeper and deeper into your own internal state. You're now taking step 10 as each muscle, every nerve turns loose, lets loose, and you go deeper. You're taking step 9 and 8, and you can see your feet, hear your feet, treading each step as you go deeper. You're taking step 7 and 6, and every breath, every noise in and around you is just bringing you even deeper. You're taking step 5, you're halfway down. Sink deeper into yourself. You're taking step 4 and 3 as you gently, calmly, easily move on to an even deeper level. You're taking step 2 and 1 as you drift down, travel down, and move down to an even deeper subconscious level. And as I click my fingers, every time I do that, you will go deeper, drift deeper, and sink even deeper into your most relaxed state. Hypnosis is a very natural state of mind. It's a state of relaxation where you can go inwards and find the answers to your questions. And we're gonna go to the memory, event or scene that is all to do with how, why, and where you started to doubt yourself. Started to doubt that you're good enough. Maybe it was a criticism, judgment, There was a moment in each of our lives, but your moment is unique because your story is unique. On a count of 5 and 4, you're becoming smaller, lighter, shorter. Months, days, and years are peeling away from you. On a count of 3 and 2, you're locking into the most significant, crucial memory, one of many, but your mind will give you what you need. Lock onto that memory on a count of 1 that is all to do with self-doubt. How and where you started to believe you're not good enough, or you're not worthy of being yourself, of knowing your truth. In that memory that your mind locked onto, see if it's day or night, inside or outside. What is happening around? How old are you? And as you look at that memory, describe that memory to yourself. What is happening? What happened that you doubted yourself? Who said that? Who was around you? Maybe someone contributed to that feeling. And how did that make you feel? How do you feel in that memory, stopping or maybe suppressing that self-trust, that complete, unconditional self-belief that we have as children? What happened that you started to doubt? And now look at that memory with your brilliant mind right now. Was that belief true? And maybe it was the only available option to you. Maybe you didn't have any other choice but to start doubting yourself. What can you do now? What is different now in your life that you don't have to believe in that anymore? Are you still in that situation? And you walk into that memory, you as an adult. You walk into that memory. You come up to that younger you, and you tell that younger version of you the truth. The truth that they are good enough, that there is nothing wrong with them. Tell them how proud you are of them. Help them change their decision. Show them that in reality, it was just one experience, one event that may be repeated many times, but as adults, we have something wonderful. We have a choice. We can choose to believe in different things. And take that younger you and walk them out of that memory and right into your life now. Show them everything you have accomplished, the people around you. World is different, which means the belief can change as well. How do they feel? How that younger version of you feels around that new life, that reality? Soak that feeling in. You can even wrap your arms around that younger you and promise them that you're going to believe in them. You're always going to believe in them. That it's now you who will always trust them. And you can stay in that feeling for as long as you want. And you can come back to this practice anytime. The more the better. But for now, hold that younger you, merge with them. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. And welcome back
Can't speak now. That's wow. That was incredible. Thank you so much. That was great.
You're welcome. I usually do
Yeah.
it a bit slower, more with
Yeah.
more investigation, but it's
Yeah.
really nice to go back and to take that
It was.
younger us.
It was. It's really, really useful to do. I know anyone watching on the video will just see me with my eyes closed, but they'll be doing it with you at the same time, and they won't see me, will you? Because I have their eyes closed. So it's all good. It's all good. I
I
think that
think
was.
it's great for them to see that you are engaged
Yeah.
in the practice as well. I think it's wonderful.
I always like to join in with these things. I am naturally curious, like I said. I want to learn these things. I was getting flashbacks to reading hypnosis books when I was younger when you were saying that to me. But I won't go into that now. I'm sure you don't want to care about that at the moment. But Kate, that was absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really want to keep talking to you. I said this to you on our first chat. I thought we could talk
Yes.
for hours, but I know you're busy. You're work to do. And I've got clients coming up, so I've almost forgotten about. I've tranced out so much now, I forgot about them. But Kate, if somebody wants to find out more about you, how do they do that?
Yes, they can find me on my website, katesemeniuk.com. They can find me on all social platforms. Kate, hypnotherapist, Kate Semeniuk, and they can go to my website. They can see all the details, how to work with me.
Amazing. And I'll put the notes on the podcast so they can find you as well. So,
Thank
Kate,
you.
thank you very much. You're absolutely incredible. I knew you would be. Have a great rest of the day.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening. I'd love to give you a free copy of my latest book, which you can download right now from my website, jamespreece.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, I'd really appreciate it if you could share the love by taking a few seconds to write a positive review on the iTunes store right now. See you next time.